Under proposed resolutions, we have proposed resolution number 2021-140, authorizing City Mayor Art Brian C. Celeste to sign and execute the joint position paper of the local government unit of the City of Alaminos, Pangasinan, and the Department of Environment and Natural Resources for the retention, establishment, or de-establishment of the 100 Islands National Park as protected area, pursuant to Republic Act number 7586, otherwise known as the NIPAS Act of 1992, as amended by Republic Act number 11038, otherwise known as the E-NIPAS Act of 2018. Item number 2 under proposed resolution number 2021-141, approving the additional partial list of specific projects funded out of the 20% development fund, amounting to 3,143,195 pesos and 18 centavos, and the special purpose appropriation amounting to 963,893 pesos of the City of Alaminos for calendar year 2021. And lastly, under proposed resolution number 2021-142, concurring to the pilot implementation of limited face-to-face classes at Lumos Elementary School, Barangay Pangapisan, City.
Any motion?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I move that the internal rules be suspended to accommodate the Speaker for the matters to be discussed, Your Honor. Mr. Chair.
It's been moved by Councilor De Castro, seconded by Councilor Secundera for the suspension of the rules to accommodate our guests. Madam Secretary, please acknowledge our guests for item number 1.
Our guest for item number 1, which is the joint position paper, is our City Legal Officer, Attorney Walter Macaita.
We'd like to welcome our City Legal Officer. So ito po yung situation natin na we have to, I think magkakaroon ng konting changes sa management ng 100 Islands. So, magandang hapon po, Attorney.
Hello. Good afternoon to all. Good afternoon to our honorable councilors, to our honorable Vice Mayor. Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat. Previously po, humingi po kami sa inyo ng resolution authorizing the City Mayor to sign a position paper establishing the 100 Islands as protected area. However, nagkaroon po ng meeting ang LGU Alaminos at ang DENR. And doon po sa meeting, na-clarify po yung respective position ng bawat isa. Kung saan napag-alaman din po natin doon sa meeting na yon na nagkaroon lamang po ng problema with respect doon sa interpretation po ng batas. Doon din po sa meeting na-clarify po natin kung ano po talaga ang position ng DENR. At dito po nila sinabi na ang position lamang po ng DENR ay oversight function. Hindi, wala po silang interest sa pag-manage sa 100 Islands National Park, which is inayunan naman po natin. Kaso ang gusto po natin, para hindi lamang po puro meeting and pursuant also to E-NIPAS Act, particularly Section 15 of E-NIPAS Act, which state that should there be any protected areas within the management of other government agency or instrumental government agency, the management shall retain to that government agency, provided that the DNR shall conduct oversight function. And pursuant also to Section 30 ng E-NIPAS Act, site legislation kung saan mag-uusap po ang bawat LGU at ang DNR na mag-propose po ng bill kung saan doon po ilalagay lahat ng site-specific kung ano pong gusto ng bawat party para maklear na po lahat. So, umayag naman po ang DNR at DNR na ilagay po natin sa proposed bill na isasubmit po natin doon sa Kongreso na ang magmamanage po sa SINP ay ang LGU Alaminos City. Wala po silang problema doon. So meron po kami dito sa joint position paper natin, nilagay po natin yung 7 issues kung saan dalawa lang po ang hindi po nila sinang-ayunan. Yung una ay yung retention po ng SINP, 100 Islands National Park. Ang gusto po nilang gawin ay gawin pong 100 Islands Landscape and Seascape Protected Area. Yun po yung proposal pa nila. Ngayon, ang pinopropose pa rin po ng LGU, why not we retain the SINP? Kasi wala naman pong prohibition doon sa batas na papalitan. Kasi nga po may historical at saka tourism significance. Yung po yung pinag-uusapan sa PAMBI na medyo hindi po ninenegotiate pa natin sa DNR. So ang ginawa ko na lang po, I wrote a letter to Historical Commission asking them kung pwede po ba na palitan yung pangalan ng SINP sa 100 Islands Landscape and Seascape. Ngayon, ang isa din pong hindi po nila inayunan ay yung regulation ng mga bangka sa SINP. Ang proposal po natin, since SINP is a protected area at minamanage po yan ng PAMBI through PAMO, ang proposal natin para po wala po tayong problema sa marina na sana at kukunin lang po sana nilang permit ay yung galing sa PAMBI. So ang magre-regulate po sana is PAMBI na lang at ang kukunin na lang po sana nila na permit ay PAMBI permit. So ang sabi po ng DNR, we are stepping the powers and functions of Marina and other government agencies. So dito po nagkakaproblema. By the way, I would like to reiterate na yung sa management of SINP na kung saan binibigay po nila yung management, control, supervision, and maintenance sa SINP ay umukay po sila. Next is the creation of PAMO o yung Protected Area Management Office. Bilang isang sa LGU, since ang LGU po ang nagmamanage po sa SINP, ang proposal po namin, why not po, na ibigay na lang po sa amin yung PAMO. Kasi ang PAMO should be under the office of the DNR. But then, ang sabi po ng DNR, mas maganda po na sa LGU na lang namin ibigay yung PAMO. At ang PAMO o yung PASU na Protected Area Supervisor na mag-head sa PAMO should be appointed by the City Mayor. And ang kagandahan pa daw po nito, yung budget po ay manggagaling sa GAA. But then the appointment, and yun po yung proposal, we accepted also. Kasi po, since tayo ang nagmamanage sa island, dapat yung supervisor ng PAMO, dapat appointed ng City Mayor para meron po tayong control sa lahat ng activities. Yun po yung napag-agrihan. And second, doon po sa PAMBI. Ngayon po, ang setup is co-chairperson po ang ating City Mayor at si Rep. Ang proposal po natin, para magkaroon po talaga tayo ng totoong control sa SINP, we propose that the City Mayor will be the chairperson and Rep will be the vice chairperson. Yun po yung tinupos po natin, and they accepted it. Kasi sabi po nila, yun naman po yung intent ng batas. And fourth, yung respecting existing rights and titles of persons in SINP. Under the law, alam po natin may mga claimant po dyan sa SINP, may mga mas lalo po dyan sa polo. Under the law po kasi lahat po ng rights, lahat ng claimant within protected area ay nire-respeto. So we agreed also to this na dapat po talaga i-respeto po natin kasi magkakaroon lang po tayo ng problema dito. And also the revenue sharing, status po tayo dun sa revenue sharing. Ang sharing po natin sa revenue, meron po tayong 100 pesos na kinokolekta. Yung 60 pesos na environmental fee na pupunta po sa ating pondo. yung 10 pesos na kinukuha po natin, yun po yung napupunta sa emergency fund. Yung 30 pesos na entrance fee, napupunta po yan sa IPAF. And doon sa 30 pesos na yon, doon po nila kinukuha yung papunta sa National Treasury. And 75% of which ay ginagamit po for the maintenance po ng 100 Islands National Park. So, with this, nag-usap po ang LGU at saka LGU Alaminos City at DNR na gumawa po ng joint position paper na ma-reflect kung ano po talaga yung position ng bawat party. Para kung present po natin, ipo-forward po kasi natin to sa Office of the President at ito rin po ang magiging basis po nila sa pag-create ng proposed bill establishing 100 Islands as protected area para clear po sana. At clear na rin po sa batas kung sino po yung nagmamanage sa 100 Islands. So, the Executive Department is seeking the help of this august body for issuance of authority so that our city mayor could sign this joint position paper with the DNR. Thank you.
Any questions to our City Legal Officer? Councilor Segunderas, recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, Attorney.
Good afternoon po, ma'am.
Yes, regarding letter C, paragraph 29, ang chairperson po kasi is the mayor, and then one of the members po, senator. But I'm just wondering how come there's no member from the Department of Tourism, and we all know that this is tourism-oriented.
Meron po, doon po sa paragraph B of section 29 po. The last part po, Department of Tourism po. So,
Thank you, Attorney.
thank you.
Anong ano yan? Anong paragraph? Section
Section D of, paragraph B of section 29.
29.
Management Board po, Mr. Chair.
Lahat po ito, ma'am, is nandun po sa batas. Kinopya po namin, since wala pong Department of Tourism po doon, in-include po namin ang DOT.
Okay. So, sa local po, may nalagay pa from the tourism office. Hindi na, no?
Po?
Yung sa tourism local natin dito, hindi na kailangan. Kasi may city mayor naman na.
Meron na po.
Meron na rin.
Pero dito sa City Tourism Office, nasa technical working group po sila, guys.
Okay.
Pero dun po sa member, nag-base lang po kami
Sa
tungkol
batas.
sa batas.
Okay. Siguro kung mag-amend, siguro sa technical working group, kung may willing rin po yung SP member po, pwede pa natin i-include siguro. Pero kahit to follow na lang.
Well, we can, mas maganda po sana, Vice, kung meron po kayong suggestion kung sino po yung pwedeng maging member pa dito, we can include. Kung any of your member, committee head po ng environmental,
Yeah.
pwedeng sumali dito sa PAMBI, well, pwede po natin i-include po.
We can include maybe the chairperson on environment or chairperson of in tourism.
Thank you, Vice.
Any other questions or recommendations to our city legal officer?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Councilor De Castro, recognize.
I am just concerned, Tony, although particularly on paragraph D on revenues derived from management and operation of HINT. Okay. While paragraph 30 strongly states, by the use of the term all revenues derived from management and operation of HINT shall accrue to LGU Alaminos City, except for motor boats, this entrance fee. But I would like to know the map which covers the, what do you call it? Under HINT pa rin?
HINT po.
Itong area which will be which will be covered by this NIPAS Act, this NIPAS.
Well,
Kasi Dude, my point is, if the entire HINT will be under the NIPAS, no? I would like to know what is the meets and bounds of the subject matter. Because later on, if they will discover, kung kunyari, kasama yung park, because under the HIN, under our Islands National Park, kasama itong park, di ba? Pero ang sinisilip nitong NIPAS actually lang is yung island, I think.
Yes po, yung island. In fact,
Yes.
yes.
That's why I would like to make a delineation or a boundary between itong subject ng NIPAS and our park. Because our park also generates income. Unfortunately, hindi lang tayo nakapag-generate ng maganda-ganda sa mga rents because of the situation. But to my mind, this is just an advent, no? Na makikialam itong sektor ng gobyerno na ito because of their interest on the revenue of this park, di ba?
That's true po. That's true.
Kasi under our position paper, ang kinapan lang natin dito, yung income nila sa paragraph D is yung sa entrance fee. And then itong development fee collected, ano? And then fees for permit imposed on motorized conveyors. What if later on, a portion of the 100 Islands National Park, no, will be leased later on? Kagaya nung Oriental Hotel. Is that included?
Anong part po yun, sir?
Yung Oriental?
Yung Oriental?
Oo.
No. That is low-cap part, not part of HINT. Meron pong batas excluding low-cap and some part of Talbang.
Ibang area na yan.
Ibang area na yan. Ang low-cap po, meron pong designated, may mix and bound na po na under the law, kung ano po yung
So basically ito,
100 islands, yes.
ito yung tubig lang, papunta na doon.
Yes, wala po.
Itong main line natin hindi kasama.
Hindi kasama po siya. Ang look-up part, in-exclude na po yan and some part of Talbang.
Okay, that is the point that I would like to be clarified because usually when we say 100 Islands National Park, ano?
Hindi ko lang po kasi dala yung mapa, but
Yeah.
then may map po talaga ang HINT.
Because I remember in some of our local ordinances, yung mainland kasama siya sa National Park.
No.
I think doon sa insurance natin.
Yung ano rin, yung mga loan.
Yes.
Yung mga loan
So,
for improvement of...
Because that would be, kunyari, because if we have a local ordinance that we categorize itong mainland as part of the 100 Islands National Park, then that is a declaration against self-interest.
Yes, I do understand that. So
Yes.
we will provide the map of 100 islands so this August body can see kung ano po talaga ang boundary po ng XINP. And for sure po ako na hindi po kasama ang lookup ward. Meron lang dito sa lookup, wala pong sinama. Kasi it was already excluded in 1974 by virtue of proclamation issued by President Marcos.
So with that, but if that is, if indeed there is that proclamation, what I am trying now to suggest then is that I think we should revisit our local ordinances because I think there are some local ordinances which declared, I think if my memory serves me right, just like that financial assistance
Yung
local
XINP
ordinance.
fund.
Yeah.
Pero doon po sa XINP fund, ang sabi lang po is, bibigyan lang po ng ayuda yung isang na-aksidente kung Kung nandun na siya sa 100 Islands at pabalik doon kung saan siya nanggaling. Doon sa gateway. So, included yung tatlong gateways.
So hindi kasama yung bus.
Yes.
Anyway, I would just like to make a clear demarcation on that because otherwise we might be stopped
Yes.
later on. No, and it would be a very difficult situation which will place in Alabino City. That's all, Tommy.
Thank you.
In support to that, in addition to that question, I think in the Bolo area, parang meron ding mga kinocontest doon, di ba? Kung part ba yung, anong island yun? There is a certain island there na Camantilis Island, for example.
Camantilis Island.
Is it part of the, I think there's been a long debate kung part ba yun ng HINP o hindi.
I think Engineer Ed can answer that. Sir?
Doon sa proclamation number din yun eh.
Good afternoon, Your Honors. Camantilis Island is not part of the HINP since it was declared segregated under Proclamation 1816. 1816.
1860.
Camantilis Island up to Bolo Beach.
Bolo wala rin. Hindi rin.
Wala na rin po.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions from the body? Kapitan Raul Bakay.
Mr. Chair, turnayin dun sa kwan, sa may paragraph 8, regulation kung pambi, overhook, motorized convenience to exclusion by other regulatory agencies. Kung gagawa ulit tayo ng ganito at another payment, babayaran na naman ng mga motorboat po namin, hindi parang pahirap na naman itong gagawin natin ito sa mga motorboat po natin. Dapat pala, kasi may proposal ng DNR na all motorboat motorized convenience-free tourist or passenger to its official bill regulated by PAMBI subject to clearance permit by other regulatory agencies. Ibig sabihin, additional na babayaran ulit ng mga motorboat po natin. Ito yung kini-question ko na kung hindi na yung mga motorboat at hindi na dadaan sa ano yung isang kwan natin, yung marina, okay lang ito. Pay-permit sila kasi under ng ano kwan. Pero pag additional ulit ito, hindi na pwedeng isingin ito na may babayaran pa ang mga motorboat natin sa mga dinar.
Well, since ang PAMBI naman po ang law-making body, pwede naman po yung PAMBI na pwede niyang i-waive na lang yung payment doon. Kasi siya din naman po yung gumagawa ng batas. Provided na yung mga bangka kumuha silang permit, pero yung permit walang bayad, pwede naman po yun. Since dominated naman po ninyo yung PAMBI board, siguro naman you can have command over that matter.
Sana hindi na madagdagan kasi as of the moment, I think.
Additional na payment na naman ito sa ating mga pagpiro.
Pero parang status quo naman ata, di ba? Whatever, ano po nangyayari ngayon, yun rin po yung mangyayari, pero nagbago lang ng parang membership or ng hierarchy. Parang yun. So yun lang po siguro yung concern ni Kapitan Bakay na sa PAMBI level, basically wag na natin dagdagan na yung babayaran ng ating mga boat. Any other concerns po? I have a few concerns. Itong nandito sa membership kanina nakita ko, 6 po ng barangays. Di ba parang 10 ata yung postal natin? Ano ba nangyari?
Actually, ang sakop lang ng
HINP.
HINP, 6 na barangay. Lugaw, Good, Sabangan, Pandan, Tilbang sa Victoria.
May part ng Victoria HINP.
Oo. Parang sakop.
Okay. So HINP. Okay. So, one more question, attorney. Yung dito po kasi sa letter request ni Mayor nakalagay na the undersigned seeks the issuance of authority to sign and execute a joint position paper after the two issues: retention of the name HINP, exclusive regulation of PAMBI over motorized conveyance to the exclusion of the regulatory agencies have been resolved and agreed upon by the August body. May separate ano pa ba kami ipapasa o
yung
Itong position paper lang ba yung pinag-usapan o parang may iba pang resolution kaming kailangan i-pass? Or is it already included dun sa position paper natin? Yung retention of the name, tsaka yung regulation of the PAMBI over motorist.
well, kung ano po yung ano ninyo dito sa dalawang issues na to, ano po yung stand po ninyo din. Yun. But then, sa tingin po namin, yung dalawang issues po kasi yan, ayaw po talagang tanggapin ng DNR.
Okay.
So, pwede naman po natin ilib yan muna.
Okay. Very important is yung position paper.
Basta yung importante po yung management ng SINP na okay po sa amin.
One more clarificatory question, attorney. Yung sa funding po nung PAMO,
PAMO po.
will it be funded by the LGU fund, the IPAF, or the GAA?
Based po doon sa usapan po namin with the PMB, the PAMO will be funded by the GAA. But then, wala naman pong prohibition kung yung PAMO will also be funded by the LGU.
LGU. Okay. So may chance na tayo rin kumbaga,
Yes.
tayo rin pagpupunta nun.
Pwede po. Kasi tayo din naman po mag-apol sa lahat po ng officers sa yung mga employees po ng PAMO.
Pero sayang rin kung sila magbayad, di ba? Mas
Pero
maganda rin.
pero ang sabi po ng nakausap po natin na BMB officials, usually ang PAMO po nila is pinapan po ng GAA, diretso na lang po sa account ng LGU. Pero separate lang po siya.
Okay po. Any other questions po? So, I guess siguro sa sanggunian po is we are worried lang na in case magkaroon ng bagong mga malalaking changes. But at least na-explain niyo po na wala namang malaking mangyayari, parang status quo lang, mag-change lang po ng ibang aspects. So, kasi I think may deadline itong position paper din. So, kung may tanong pa po tayo, tanong na po natin kay Atty. Navalco. Wala na po ba? Wala na po. Thank you very much, Atty.
Thank you very much,
Navalco.
Vice. Thank
Salamat
you.
po. So, we proceed. Madam Secretary, item number 2. Do we have questions? Okay. Regarding the additional partial list funded out of the 20% development fund, Engineer Joel Camba is here, our city engineer. Meron po ba ng katanungan? These are, I think, projects sa barangay and infrastructure regarding farm-to-market road at Barangay Bued and improvement of the bridge. Sir, ako tanong ko ano ito yung bridge number 1 sa Pangapisan? Labor and materials for the replacement of bridge number 1 and repair improvement of bridge number 2, Barangay Pangapisan, City of Alaminos. Ito ba yung masisira na?
Hello po. Ito sir yung mga existing wooden bridge natin doon na going to yung housing project natin doon kung nakikita nyo po.
So, may lumot?
Dalawang tulay po yun na existing wooden bridge. With regard to this one, yung bridge number 1 po is replacement. Ang bridge number 2 na wooden bridge ay i-repair lang po. Kaya dalawa na po ito. Ang sukat po niya is 11.2 meters by 1.5 meters in width.
Sa Lumos po ito, sir?
Yes po. Sa Pangapisan po.
Dalawa. Tapos ito pong sa Bued, gaano po kahaba yung i-asphalt po?
Regarding naman po sa Bued, ito yung farm-to-market road natin at nakita natin na mayroon na pong i-develop din ng DPWH along Santo Rosario Dito naman po sa Urbos Street, Barangay Buwan. Ang length po nito is 473 meters. Ang width po niya is 4 meters. At saka ang thickness niya po is 0.05. 2 inches po ito. Asphalt overlay po.
Okay. Any other questions from the body? So, sir, may status ba yung pag-aayos po ng yung mga asphalting po sa poblasyon? I think napasa na po yun under partial list ng Sangguniang. Yung mga patching po natin sa Central Business District, may update po ba tayo doon?
Actually po yung inapproval ng numero yata, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, yung dating route po ng yung tricycle.
Opo. Meron bang timeline po kung kailan kaya masisimulan yun? Sa may election.
Naka-prepare na rin kami po yung mga POW at siguro dito lang matasanggunan na po yung magpapalok na po kay Mayor.
So okay na po yung mga POW?
Oo. Nandun na po lahat yung mga POW po with regards to the repair and patching of potholes of city streets.
Baka i-bid na po siguro, no? I-ano na lang po natin.
Opo.
Okay po, any other questions? Wala na po. Thank you very much, our city engineer, Sir.
So thank you rin po.
Thank you po. Lead to the next item. Madam Secretary, please acknowledge our guest.
Our resource persons for item number 3 are Ma'am Premilin Alaga po, teacher 1 of Lumos Elementary School.
Mahina.
Our resource person for item number 3 under proposed resolution is our City Planning Development Coordinator, Engineer Eduardo Garcia, and the Principal of Lumos Elementary School, Ma'am Premilin Raga po.
Magandang hapon, ma'am. Welcome po sa aming session. Pwede po ba niyo kami bigyan ng update kung ano po yung magiging status po ng pilot face-to-face po natin project?
Good afternoon po, Vice, and to all our Sangguniang Panlalawigan officers and members, and to all of us here this afternoon. A pleasant afternoon to all. So, may I share to you simple views about this coming implementation of the face-to-face classes at Lumos Elementary School. So before we are chosen to implement this face-to-face, we come up with this requirement on which we answered a SAT template. As this is an assessment if we will going to meet the needs for this implementation. And last September 20, 2021, from these 200 requirements or questions, if ever that we are ready for the implementation, actually we have 38 no answers, and one of these is the concurrence between the LGU, since our first dialogue with the Mayor Celeste was last September 29. And from his first dialogue, with our first dialogue, of course, he already given us the positive answer regarding this matter. Aside from these requirements, of course, the Division of Alaminos City will come up of this status of validation of our school, on which we presented the list of our learners and the status of our school. From this, another requirement is the status of the teachers' vaccination, where among my seven teachers in Lumos Elementary School, we are already vaccinated. Before the concurrence last October 27, with Mayor Art Brian Celeste, we presented our strategic plan of what we are going to do for this implementation and the budgetary requirements. And last October 28, a concurrence between the LGU was signed. And this is the Alaminos City School Board Resolution Number 4, Series of 2021, a resolution concurring and providing support fund for the pilot implementation of limited face-to-face classes at Lungos Elementary School, Barangay Pangabisan, this city, where the LGU provide us a budget of 651,000 for this pilot face-to-face. Actually, medyo sa dami po ng requirements aside from the budget, ROs, regional officers contact us from time to time sa mga reports po. So, napaka-busy. But among Pangasinan, we are the only school to represent. So, sa Pangasinan, Alaminos City lang. And inter-region 1, only Ilocos Norte and Alaminos City will conduct this first pilot face-to-face. So, 9 po na school from Ilocos Norte ang magpa-pilot face-to-face po sa November 15, and we, the Lungos Elementary School of Alaminos.
Okay po. Any questions from the body? So basically po, napili po tayo ng CHED, tama po ba? Na tayo po ang pilot dito sa Lungos. And then, nasabit na po lahat ng requirements. So, pumasa po tayo doon.
Pumasa po. From nung October 20, dinalaw na po tayo ng ating regional director na kung saan nakita niya nga po na the place is safe at napakaganda po. And recommended talaga. Actually, we haven't expect na November na po. Akala po namin is sa second batch po, expanded face-to-face on March. Akala namin doon kami na makukonsider na sumali ng pilot testing. At yun nga.
Okay.
Highly recommended.
Lahat ba nang nag-aaral sa Lungos, taga-Lungos? Lahat po ba na nag-aaral sa Lungos ay taga-Lungos? O mayroong exceptional case na galing po ng ANDA o galing po ng central, sentro? Lungos lahat.
Taga-Lungos po sila lahat.
Any questions po? Councilor Season is recognized. We have room for 2 questions.
Ang tanong ko lang po, paano po yung sinasabi po ninyong specific class? Paano po yung magiging setup po ng face-to-face po ng mga bata? Hati or full day, half day?
Thank you po, ma'am. So, ang class program po for the face-to-face, only kinder to grade 3 will conduct this face-to-face. From kinder to grade 3, meron po kaming 83 learners, but from these 83 learners, 79 parents sign the parent consent. So, yung iba po, may 4 po na magmo-modular na lang po sila. So, for example, in grade 1, meron pong 23 learner, hahatiin po yung klase. So, this pilot face-to-face ay morning lang po. Morning session na kung saan for kinder, 3 hours lang po ang pagtuturo, and from grade 1 to grade 3, 4.5 hours. So, diretso po yon. 2 months po ang implementation ng ating pilot testing. So, matatapos siya January. At yun nga po, first week, papasok po si Class A, half day, and then morning for 4 subjects, afternoon po, modular, yung kalahati po, mag-modular po sila. And then the following, next week, ang papasok naman po is Class B. So, ganun po ang setup. Alternate po. So, ang isang bata po, within that 2 months, meron pong parang 4 weeks na papasok po sila. Straight po yun. Monday to Friday na morning class ang ating face-to-face.
Okay. Any other questions? Councilor Cirilo.
Nabanggit nyo kanina ma'am na mukhang may budget na binigay ng LGU doon sa 100 plus thousand. Saan po gagamitin nyo?
This budget, we presented po kagawad City Councilor ang budget na to na kung saan yung 651 po na yon ay meron po tayong kasama po yung mga necessary needs, basic needs ng ating mga learners, mga disinfection, others are yung sa mga, for example, sa barriers for learners. Napakaano po yung, every learners po ay magkakaroon ng barrier. Learner's barrier and also the teacher's barrier. We requested din po ng ito pong mga ginagamit natin sa isolation area, triads, and some shed din po, nagpadagdag po kami kasi as you observe, kung nakapunta na po kayo sa Lumos, napaka liit na school, marami pa pong kailangan talagang i-provide. So nga, sabi nga namin, we are the smallest school, ready ba? Yung mga gamit. So ang dami pong kailangan na, at ang nasa budgetary plan po, City Councilor.
Any other questions? Ma'am, pag nag-ongoing po for 2 months, tapos how do we assess kung successful siya o hindi?
Actually, po Vice, sinabi nga nila na from day to day, from time to time, upon entering the school po ng learners, yun nga po, check yung temperature check, pati sa pag-uwi. So, siguro ang pinaka-success po nito ay wala pong mangyaring case.
So, kung may isang case, stop?
Parang, opo, stop po talaga.
Okay. Sige po. So then, isang concern lang po nung napag-usapan din namin kanina kasi is parang ano ba yung overall objective nito? Is it to apply face-to-face sa ibang parts ng Alaminos? Kasi yung Lumos special case kasi nga medyo naka-isolate siya. So yun, kaya tinatanong ko kung ano yung next steps pagka naging successful, can we already implement it? Will we already implement? Or ilang side ng Sangguniang is siyempre, yung special case ang Lumos eh. So, we have to study pa kung maging successful ang Lumos. It doesn't mean magiging successful sa poblasyon or sa iba. So, any other, with that, any closing statement, ma'am? Kailan po pa yung sundag card? Wala na po.
Yeah, one last. So, what would be the effect of this? In the event that these face-to-face classes will be approved, particularly for Sitio Lumos. In your personal opinion, what would be the effect of this for the city of Alaminos? Would it be the advent of the beginning or the birth of a face-to-face classes for the entire barangay of Alaminos?
Thank you po, Councilor.
Will this be the basis for the reopening of a face-to-face classes?
Actually po, City Councilor, the main problem of this is our parents, yung kung saan po nga na hirap na po sila sa pagtuturo sa kanilang mga anak through that modules po. So, as one solution of this is trying na i-open po natin ang face-to-face dahil once po na naging successful ito, of course, dediretso na po ang face-to-face classes na kung saan we will have this talaga pong quality education dahil nung umikot po kami, home visitation, napakahirap po talaga na ang mga learners hindi po makabasa since ang parents ay hindi rin nila alam kung paano turuan po ang kanilang mga anak. So, yun po.
Parang nangyayari, yung mga magulang ang nag-aaral, hindi yung mga bata.
Opo, ang magsasagot po talaga, parents.
And in your opinion, by the opening of the face-to-face classes, at least mas may matututunan yung mga bata.
Yes po talaga po. City
And
Council.
eventually, it would lead to the reopening ng face-to-face.
Yes po.
But, paano yung sa COVID problem natin?
Talagang strict implementation po talaga ng mga protocols po. Kasi actually po, on our part, of course, na talaga andun po yung agam-agam na hindi po namin alam kung ano po yung mangyayari. Pero the desire nga po na andun po nga na talagang gusto rin namin na ma-attain yung quality education. So, sige po, laban lang, kumbaga, para sa bata, para po sa bayan. So, ang mangyayari po ngayon is, nakipag-usap na rin po kami sa barangay na from day to day, meron po talagang tatao po sa papasok po sa lungos na magbabantay. At nakausap na po ang mga parents, lalo na halimbawa po yung mga nagtitinda, wala na pong papasok doon. Pag nag-start po ang face-to-face, bawal na pong pumasok, halimbawa yung mga nakamotor po na bumibili po ng isda. Nakiusap po sila na may station before Sitio Lungos, siguro doon sa dulo po, doon po nila pipick upin yung kanilang mga bibilhin or sa mga business ano din po sa Lungos, sila na po magdadala mismo. So, at testing po talaga.
Yes, actually, you're going to my point kasi di ba ang i-open nyo is, what's that, from nursery? Kinder to grade 3, di ba? And sa aking personal na naobserbahan, no? It is of those levels, no, or ages ng mga students, na kung saan yung mga magulang, pagkahatid sa mga estudyante, nandun na rin sila hanggang matapos ang klase na magkikismisan, di ba? So how do you address that situation now? Will you shoo away the parents?
We have a waiting area po, especially po sa kinder and grade 1 po ngayon dahil yun nga po yung try outs po namin on November 9 ba yun or 10 para po makita yung situation kasi from kinder hindi na po sila pumasok sa school. So this is now their first time na papasok po sa school. So paano kaya yung situation nito? Pero actually, based on my teachers po, nasanay po ang mga bata sa Lungos Elementary School na sila po talaga daw bahalang papasok po sa school ang mga bata na mag-isa. Parang naging independent po ang ating mga learners since alam nila na nasa paligid lang po ang kanilang mga magulang. Dumating po kasi ako sa Lungos Elementary School August 2020, 1 year and 2 months pa lang po ako. So, hindi ko po pa nakita yung situation ng talagang face-to-face sa Lungos po.
Well, I believe you also prepared para sa mga disinfection naman. Well, I admire your courage, ano, and your desire to move for the better learning of the students.
Thank you po.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you po.
Thank you po.
Okay, with that, thank you very much, Ma'am Rabago, for presenting us with the plan.
Yes po.
Rest assured, the Sangguniang Pangusod is here to support, but at the same time, we make sure that the balance between health and education is attained. Dilo po. Dilo po. Maraming pong salamat.
Thank you very much po.
So we will now proceed if the body would allow to continue under suspension of the rules to discuss the unassigned business regarding the devolution transition plan. Is there any objection? Hearing none, Madam Secretary, please acknowledge our guest.
Our guest for the adoption and approval of the City of Alaminos Devolution Transition Plan for 2022 to 2024 are our City Government, CLGOO, Madam Victoria Jean Dawis, and our CPTO, Engineer Eduardo Garcia.
So, magandang hapon po, ma'am. So, ito po yung alam po natin, di ba, napasa po yung Mandanas. So, by next year po, devolved na po yung mga functions ng trabaho ng national sa atin. So, ito po ang ating DLG officer para po i-explain sa atin yung mga bagong trabaho na naipasa sa atin. Pero nabigyan din tayo ng karagdagang pondo para po dito. Ma'am, good afternoon po.
Okay, so magandang hapon po sa ating lahat, sa ating Vice Mayor, the Honorable Vice Mayor, at saka sa ating mga membro ng Sangguniang Panlungsod, the Honorable August Body. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. It's nice to be here. Ang lamig pala dito sa session hall. Mali pala dapat pala naka-jacket ako. So, actually, napag-usapan ko yung tinatawag na devolution transition plan. It's because of ang city kasi, lahat ng local government units, including the provinces, cities, barangays, municipalities, are required to submit the devolution transition plan that will cover from 2022 to 2024. So, i-discuss ko lang yung JMC po na na-issue po ng DILG together with the DBM, our budget management, na kung saan na-issue po yung JMC number 2021-01 noong August 11, 2021 po. Na kung saan in-issue po yung guidelines on the preparation of the devolution transition plan, kaakibat po in support for the Executive Order 138 na pinaramahan po ng ating Presidente. So, we go to the legal basis. Kung titignan po natin, because of the Mandanas ruling, nag-emanate po yung JMC because of the EO 138. And nag-emanate naman ng EO 138 because of the Mandanas ruling po, na kung saan alam naman po natin na, di ba, sa Mandanas, question yung basis sa computation ng national taxes. Yung kumbaga yung just share dapat ng mga LGUs, na dapat daw hindi lang sa national internal revenue taxes, but also it includes na all national taxes. So, ibig sabihin, when we talk on national taxes, kasama po yung mga binabayaran sa custom. So, nagkaroon po ng decision at nag-successful po yung petition, at doon po, because of the impact of fiscal resources, lalaki ho kasi ang resources ng lahat ng local government units, nag-issue po ang ating Presidente ng Executive 138 series of 2021. Okay? So base dyan, inatasan po ang mga national government agencies na mag-issue ng JMC as well as guidelines na dapat tatahakin ng ating mga local government units. So, yan po ang kanyang rationale. And based din doon, dahil nga po sa devolution, nakabase naman po sa local government code na kung saan responsibilidad ng local government units ang mag-deliver ng mga basic services as well as yung pangangailangan po ng ating komunidad. So, with that issuance, sinama na po talaga na dapat mag-full devolution na tayo. Kasi nung inisyo ang local government po, partial devolution pa lang tayo. But because of the impact of the fiscal resources, nagkaroon po tayo ng, sabi nila is, kailangan full devolution na sa LGU. Dapat wala ng duplication ng mga devolved functions kasi kung titignan natin, dati-rate, ang DSWD, nagbabudget siya for supplemental feeding. Ganun din po ang ating syudad, lahat ng mga local government units. Ngayon, mawawala na yon. Wala nang poponduhan si DSWD regarding supplemental feeding, bahala na si LGU dahil yun naman ang devolved function niya, siya na ang magpupondo ng lahat. Dahil kung titignan natin sa Mandanas, tumaas ho ng fiscal resources ang LGUs, but ang national government bumabaho. So, bumabaho yung pondo, so wala, kukunti na lang yung natitira sa national government. Okay? So, we go to the guiding principles po ng ating devolution. So, sabi dyan, the LGUs are the primary responsible for providing the direct delivery of basic services because of the increase of fiscal resources. At the same time, expected din na dapat ma-strengthen din daw po yung capacities natin as well as enhance our organizational capability for service delivery. as well as yung Institute Transparent, Accountable, and Participatory Mechanism. Ganun din po, kailangan na-establish din po natin yung tinatawag na robust partnership with the NGOs, especially sa pagbibigay ng technical assistance sa ating mga local government units. So, ang Devolution Transition Plan, kung titignan po natin, would be a roadmap na tatahakin natin from starting 2022 next year until 2024. So, lahat po ng provinces, cities, municipalities shall prepare po their own DTPs. Okay? And from there, in the preparation of their DTPs, dapat po there's a close coordination with the NGAs as well as yung pong mga development priorities and capacities and resources, and with the reference of the NJTTP shall identify the functions as well as services and to be fully assumed by the local government units. And with the full assumption of the all functions and services may entail updating of their organizational structure and staffing pattern. So kung titignan ho natin yung tinatawag na IRA, wala na ho siya. Hindi na ho IRA or Internal Revenue Allotment. Ang tawag na ho ngayon is National Tax Allotment. Ang tawag na ho sa So nagbase po ang computation ng NTA is based on the 2015 population as well as the land area. So doon po binase nila yung computation. So from 2021, tataas daw po ng 37% ang fiscal resources po ng mga LGUs to sa 2022, base ho sa DBM yan. The next, the LGUs should be able to proactively address the projected decrease in their respective FY 2023 to 2024 NEA shares due to the effects of COVID-19. So kung titignan po natin, kasi yung 2022 ho kasi na share ho natin, mataas ho siya. Kasi ang collection ng, nagbabase ho yung collection sa 2019. So 3 years back. So yung 2022 na tatanggapin natin, yung share natin next year, ay nagbabase ho siya sa collection ng 2019. So wala pa ho tayong COVID ng 2019. So sinasabi din ho ng national government that we have to prepare for 2023 to 2024 dahil nagkaroon ho tayo ng pandemic, bumaba ho ang collection ho natin, so bababa din ho ang shares ho natin. So nagsara ho ang ekonomiya natin. Halos 6 months ho tayo nagkaroon ng ECQ, and at the same time until now, di ba, may mga hindi pa rin nagbubukas, hindi pa rin fully blown ang ating ekonomiya. So pinag-prepare din ho tayo na tignan kung ano ba yung dapat gawin ng LGU ng Sagunan, mas-sustain po natin yung ating income. And next, cities and municipalities shall guide and support their component barangays in the assumption of their new roles and responsibilities. Ganun din po, sa atin po dito sa Alaminos, with the 39 barangays, halos lahat na po ay meron siyang kanya-kanyang DTP ho, or Barangay Devolution Transition Plan. So we are able to assist them for during the preparation of their DTPs. Okay? The LCE shall spearhead po yung Devolution Transition Committee as well as the preparation of the DTP. And the local Sanggunian shall review and approve the LGU DTP through a Sanggunian resolution. So, base ho din dyan sa JMC, meron din hong template ng resolution na binigay na ho ang national government. So, yun po. And ang Devolution Transition Committee, yan po yung mga members ho natin with, from the provinces, cities, and municipalities. The LCE shall spearhead the committee as well as isang may member po from the local Sanggunian. Meron po sa Finance Committee, ang ating City Planning, Budget Officer, Treasurer, and ang ating Local Administrator, ang ating Presidente ng Liga ng mga Barangay, and at least 2 representative po from the civil society na kung saan members po sila ng Local Development Council. And may version din po sa barangay. Okay? So ano po ba ang functions ng Devolution Transition Committee? Sila po yung magpre-prepare ng DTP or Devolution Transition Plan in close coordination po sa mga national government agencies. And at the same time, sila rin po ang mag-formulate ng capacity development agenda based po doon sa results of their respective capacities guided by the strategy for LGU capacity development. So, ang CapDev ho, hindi na ho siya bago sa atin dahil nung nagkaroon po tayo ng executive legislative agenda, yun po yung mga naka-attach na, isa sa mga naka-attach na document na kung saan nakalagay doon po yung mga appropriate individual and organizational capacity intervention needed po sa ating LGU. And number 4, ensure the integration and coordination of local PPAs on the devolved functions and the national goals, standards, and strategies. And ensure that kung ano po yung nakalagay po doon sa ating mga PPA sa DTP ay dapat din po nakalagay sa annual investment program, sa AIP po natin at saka sa annual budget. And to conduct meeting as often as necessary. So yun po yung duties ng ating Development Transition Committee. And next, ito po yung mga devolved functions sa atin, nakalagay po sa ating local government code. So yan po yung mga devolved functions natin. Okay. And next would be the component of the DTP. So kung makikita po natin, there are 6 component po ng ating Devolution Transition Plan. Yung first 3 would be applicable po sa barangays, but the rest, but the 6 from the first to the last, like for example, the state of devolved functions and services and facilities, as well as yung pacing of assumption, capacity development agenda, organizational staffing pattern, and yung local resource generation, as well as performance. Yan po lahat ay parte or annexes po ng isang devolution transition plan na i-prepare at na-prepare po ng ating local government unit. So we go to the first, yan po yung unang-unang annexes para may idea po tayo. Dito sa annex na ito, nakalagay po lahat yung mga state of devolved function services and facilities. Nakalagay po dyan, sabi dyan, shall stock take and provide baseline information of the devolved function. So, kailangan nakalagay dyan lahat ng mga devolved function, services, and facilities na kasalukuyang existing at saka hindi nag-i-exist sa ating LGU. So, ang format po niya would be the next slide. Yan po ang itsura niya. So, 6 po yung columns na nandyan. Kung makikita po natin, may questions na yes and no, yung third column. So, i-enumerate mo lahat yung devolved functions na ginagawa ng isang LGU and ilalagay mo rin kung siya ba ay nag-i-exist or hindi. So, yun po ang magiging listahan po siya ng lahat ng devolved functions natin. So, that's the Annex E1. Next would be the Annex E2. F2 pala. Yun yung pacing assumption of functions and services and facilities. So, dito sa Annex F1, ay ilalagay po natin dito kung alin ba doon sa mga nasa Annex E1 ay kailangan nating tugunan from 2022 to 2023. At nakalagay siya, kaya siya tinawag na pacing, it's because we will implement it in a staggered basis. For example, ipapakita ko sa inyo mamaya yung listahan. May mga ibang batas na nagsasabi na kailangan po nating mag-appoint ng Cooperative Development Officer or City Cooperative Development Officer. So kung required na po yan lahat sa lahat ng syudad at lahat ng munisipyo. So yun po yung isa sa mga devolved functions na kailangan i-create sa isang LGU. At kung ilalagay mo yung sa Annex 2 ay sa Annex F1 pala, nalilito sa barangay kasi F2 lagi. Sa pacing po na form is mga ilang taon hanggang ilang taon mo matatapos yung full implementation ng pag-create ng plantilla to the appointment as well as yung hanggang sa magkasweldo yung isang cooperative development officer. So, by phasing ho kasi siya dahil hindi naman abrupt na agad makikreate mo at mabibigyan mo agad siya ng salary niya as well as yung mga kailangan pa niya for the operation of the cooperative officer. So, ganun po yung sa phasing or sa Annex F1 po. Yun po ang nilalagay ho natin sa phasing. Then, that's the form. Yan po yung F1. The next would be the Annex G1. Nakalagay naman po from the G1 would be the Capacity Development Agenda. So dito, ilalagay mo na ho yung, kumbaga kung ano yung nasa F1, ita-translate mo siya into Capacity Development Agenda na kung saan lalabas ho siya na kung kailangan ho ba ng intervention, kailangan ba ng creation of positions, kailangan po ba ng trainings, ganun ho. So yun, kung ano yung nakalagay sa Annex F1, yun din po ang nakalagay sa Annex G1. So capital agenda po. So yan po yung kanyang template. 11 columns so yan. So yan ang. So each department ay gumawa ko ng ganyan. Then we go to the organizational structure and staffing pattern. Dito, sabi, nakalagay po that the LGU shall review and propose modification in their OSSP, yung kanilang organizational structure and staffing pattern, in reference to their base assumption of the of the functions, services, and facilities to be fully devolved. So, if we would want to create a position base doon sa mga laws na binigay po sa atin, ilalagay po natin dito sa OSSP. For example, ngayon, yung pag-create po ng City Cooperative Officer, so as yung local statistician, yun, city statistician, yun po yung mga nire-require nila. So, lalagyan po natin kung kailangan po ng additional personnel based on the devolved functions. Okay, so, yan po ang kanyang form. Yan, at saka yung isa, yung proposed additional positions, yan. Yan din po kasi ang nire-require ng local budget circular at kailangan na i-submit kung sakasakali po sa ating civil service. Okay? Then we go to the Annex I, pang-ani, 6. Hindi, 5. Okay. Okay. So, yan po yung local revenue forecast and resource mobilization. Dito ang kailangan lang ho is because, di ba, meron tayong by 2023 to 2024, bababa ho yung ating marireceive. So, kailangan meron po dapat tayong strategy kung paano natin masustain yung ating income sa ating LGU. So, kailangan i-forecast mo din yung iyong mga resource mobilization and revenue forecasting. So, the last template would be the performance target for devolved functions and services. Kung paano ho yung gagawin nating strategy at kung paano natin masisiguro na lahat po ay mai-implement base po sa devolved functions ng ating devolution transition plan. So, yun po. And next, so the timeline and submission, the timeline and submission po would be for the cities and municipalities from the approval of this JMC, which was noong August 11, 2021, we are given 90 days sa ating LGU. So, by November 10 po, we are expected to submit our city devolution transition plan sa DILG, sa DBM, as well as sa provincial capital. So, yan po yung outline ng ating devolution transition plan. Yan po. So, yan. Yan ang outline po dyan. Simple lang po yung message, Sangguniang Resolution, key facts about LGU, and lahat po ng annexes. Next.
Medyo mahaba po medyo makapal po yung plan. So, mag-iwan na lang po tayo ng copy sa secretariat dun sa gusto ko pong tumira.
Para makita nyo ho. So, yan po yung mga nakalagay ho dyan. Yan po yung mga other laws, issuances, na kung saan nire-require din ho na isama natin sa ating devolution transition plan. Such as yung sabi ko kanina, yung cooperative officer, city statistician, and the rest. Hindi ko na siya isa-isahin. Ano po? Okay,
Good luck up to November 10.
Natapos naman na, di ba, ma'am? Complete naman na yung natin, di ba? Requirements natin. Complete na. Are there any questions to our DLG officer? Councilor Alfred, ano?
I think there being none, we join you in your interesting this out up to November 10. Kasi baka kasama yan sa, ano ba yan? Seal of Good Governance?
Yes, sir.
Okay. No question.
Actually, minomonitor ko bilang talaga kung hanggang saan na yung stages ng ating pag-formulate ng DPP. Halos every day po, minomonitor ng central office. We are going to submit kasi hard copy plus yung kanyang soft copy ng 2 beses sa central office.
Okay.
So, we hope that ma-submit ho natin and we could approve the resolution immediately. Yun po. So again, magandang hapon po sa ating lahat at maraming salamat.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Jean Dawit. Now, and no more questions? Okay, thank you, Ma'am Jean. So we will now lift the suspension of the rules. Okay, what is the pleasure of the body regarding item number 1, 2, 3, and 1 unassigned business? Majority Floor Leader.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I move that items number 1, 2, and 3, inclusive of the unassigned business, be elevated to the business of the day for deliberation.
It's been moved by Councilor De Castro, duly seconded by Councilor Segundera, Councilor Ranoy, Councilor De Leon, Councilor Applebaque, President Bernabe for the inclusion of the 4 items in the business of the day for deliberation. Any objection? Hearing none, the said item is included in our business of the day. Shall we include the amendment of the IRP as well, Councilor Alfred?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Next item, Madam Secretary.
May we proceed to the committee reports. The first item is joint committee report from the ANBAC hearing held on October 15 regarding the...
I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you. Regarding item number 1 under committee reports, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These were all postponed. So,
may just suggest, Mr. Chair, that the committee chair of all those committee reports which were postponed, that they coordinate with the Secretariat for the proper rescheduling of the said matter, Mr. Chair.
Any second? Seconded by... That's been moved by Councilor De Castro, seconded by Councilor Ladok, that the said 6 committee hearings be scheduled, be coordinated with to our Secretariat. Meron ba dito sa next 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, are there any important, do you wanna cover na? Basahin natin. Okay, number 7, Councilor Dalia De Leon for item number 7. Yes po, you may. Okay. Since we've already had the hearing and no penalty clause and not tax related, we may that can be considered second reading na yung hearing. So there's a motion by Councilor De Leon to adopt the committee report at the calendar for third and final reading the said ordinance. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the said committee report is hereby adopted. The said ordinance is calendared for third and final reading in our next regular session. Next item number 7. Councilor Robert Renoy is recognized. Sorry. LBP Bakay or Councilor Verna. Shall I think Councilor Bakay excuse himself. Ikaw daw, recommendation. Yung violation ticket. Ayun na. Kapag yung sa violation ticket, pakibasa na lang po yun.
Yung state findings, the committee hereby moves for the adoption of the committee report and measure be deleted from the calendar of business.
Okay, it has been moved by Councilor Raul Bakay that the committee report be adopted and said measure be deleted from the calendar of business. Any objection? Hearing none, the said committee report is adopted the said measures deleted from the calendar of business. I hope the issue was already resolved as well with the LTO. Next item would be item number 9. Also by LVP Raul B. Bakay.
In view of the above, I should findings the committee required for the committee report and the picture of the schedule for public hearing November.
Ano yan? Okay. So, Capital Raul Bakay moves for the adoption of this committee report. The said public hearing is set tentatively next week, but will be coordinating with the Secretariat for the final date of the said consultation. So ordered. Next item number 10, Councilor Cirilo Radok.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we conducted the judicial hearing. I hope that the committee report be adopted and also the matter to the new chairman of operations, Councilor Bulling, for disposition.
Okay, there's a motion by Councilor Radok to adopt the said committee report. Any objection? Hearing none, the said committee report is hereby adopted. Councilor Oscar Bolling, the chairman on finance and appropriation. What shall we do? Shall we schedule an unbanked hearing or shall we? What is your pleasure? Gusto ba natin ipatawag si budget dito, pag-usapan po natin sa kailan po? Sa next week po or unbanked na lang tayo? Sa next face-to-face natin. So, next week. So, Councilor Oscar Bolling schedules an unbanked hearing with the local finance committee, more importantly, our city budget officer, on our next face-to-face regular session. So ordered. Next item. Item number 11. Councilor Cirilo Radok, should we also have the same motion? Pareho na pala yan. So the motion that was passed a while ago includes item number 10 and 11.
Yes.
Okay. Next item, Madam Secretary. Yeah, pass break na.
I proceed to the business of the day. The first item is the resolution authorizing City Mayor Art Brian Celeste to sign and execute the joint position paper of the local government unit of the City of Alaminos, Pangasinan and the Department of Environment and Natural Resources for the retention, the establishment or disestablishment of the 100 Islands National Park.
Any motion?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I move for approval of this matter unless some questions or under deliberation of the matter.
This will be moved by Councilor Alfredo de Castro, seconded by Councilor Sison, Councilor Abulbakay, Councilor Noy, Councilor Secretary LVP Bagay for the adoption of the said resolution. Any objection? Hearing none, the said resolution is hereby adopted. Next item, Madam Secretary.
Resolution approving the additional partial list of specific projects funded out of the 20% Development Fund and the special purpose appropriations.
Any motion? Councilor Oscar Bolling. Shall we adopt? It has been moved by Councilor Oscar Bolin, duly seconded by Councilor Secundera, Councilor Rabo, Councilor Sison, Councilor Apolbacay, Councilor Problenoy for the adoption of the said resolution. Any objection? Hearing none, the said resolution is hereby adopted. Next item, Madam Secretary.
Resolution concurring to the pilot implementation of limited face-to-face classes at Lumos Elementary School, Barangay Pangapisan.
Councilor Apolbacay.
I move for the adoption of the said resolution.
It has been moved by Councilor Apollonia G. Bacay, duly seconded by Councilor Rabo, Councilor Secundera, Councilor Sison, Councilor De Leon for the adoption of the said resolution. Any objection? Hearing none, the said resolution is hereby adopted. Next item.
Resolution approving adopting the City of Alaminos Devolution Transition Plan 2022 to 2024.
Third Leader, Councilor De Castro.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I move for its approval.
Shall we read the plan? Pwede na. Approve na natin ito? It has been moved by Councilor Arthur Felix De Castro, duly seconded by Councilor Sison, Councilor Secundera, LDB Bacay for the adoption of the said resolution to concur the devolution plan. Any objection? Amendment, discussion, hearing none, the said resolution is hereby adopted. Madam Secretary, please keep a copy in your office and a copy of the PowerPoint, just in case as SP member would like to go through the said plan. Next item.
Resolution amending the internal rules of procedure of Sangguniang Panlungsod for the term 2019 to 2022.
Any more? Councilor De Castro.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I move for the approval of the said matter.
It has been moved by Councilor De Castro, seconded by Councilor Radok, Councilor Secundera, President Bernabe, Councilor Sison, Councilor Lanoy for the adoption of the said resolution. Any objection? Amendment? Any discussion? Hearing none, the said resolution is hereby adopted. Next item.
Announcement reminders.
Are there any announcements from the body?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I would like to congratulate and greet Councilor Robel Lanoy for the extended happy birthday, Mr. Chair.
Happy birthday, Councilor
Kanta naman tayo.
Lanoy.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday. Dapat may committee on birthdays talaga eh. Any other announcements? Shortcut ka na.
We have already received Sangguniang Panlalawigan resolution regarding the reclassification of parcels of land owned by Chelavi Alfonso na residual free Mariano from agricultural to commercial use. The same is true with the reclassification of two parcels of land owned by spouses Jesus Arperas and Maria Lourdes White Perez. And of course, ordinance number 2021-22, sexual harassment ordinance, are all enacted within the conferred powers of the Sangguniang Panlungsod.
Okay, congratulations to the sponsor of the said ordinance. Si Councilor Sison ko ba? Councilor Sison and the other ordinance. So, any announcements? Wala na po? So, any motion? Motion. Councilor Bacay? Raul Bacay?
No more suggestion, I move to adjournment.
It's been moved by Councilor Raul Bacay, seconded by Councilor Doc, Councilor De Leon for the adjournment of today's regular session. And now call this Sangguniang Panlungsod regular session for the month of November adjourned. Maraming salamat.